Ezekiel 47 verse 13. Thus says the Lord God. This shall be the boundary by which you shall divide the land for an inheritance among the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions. You shall divide it for an inheritance, each one equally with the other. For I swore to give it to your forefathers, and this land shall fall to you as an inheritance.
Similar to the land division under Joshua's leadership, Joseph shall have 2 portions for his 2 sons. One for Ephraim and one for Manasseh. Boundaries to the north, south, east and west are given in Ezekiel 47 verses 15 to 20. The explicit demarcation of the land by borders emphasizes that the land is not spiritual land and its division is not symbolic. These descriptions, with boundaries to the north, south, east and west, do not coincide with any division of the land in the past. And the amount of detail argues for a literal fulfillment in the future. There will be actual physical land given to the 12 tribes of Israel. Unlike the tribal allotments in the past, there is no land allotment in Transjordan. This gift of the land is in fulfillment of God's promise to their forefathers, Ezekiel 47 verse 14. Ezekiel 48 continues with more details of the placement of the tribes in this allotment. With the tribe of Dan in the extreme north, and which tribe is next to the south and so on. Thus the land is divided into parallel strips of equal size. Since the land allotments will be of equal size, and since the east-west width of the promised land would vary, depending on the latitude of each allotment, then the north-south distance would also vary accordingly so that the land will be of equal size. The general allotments of land were assigned to each tribe. But within each tribal allotment, particular portions of land would be assigned to families by lot. Foreigners living among the tribes are treated as native-born and were to be allotted land, Ezekiel 47 verses 22 to 23. Additionally, the Lord gave directions for setting aside a section of the land for the Lord, known as the holy portion, Ezekiel 45 verses 1 to 6. Dimensions are given, but its location remains undisclosed until chapter 48.
Ezekiel 48 verses 8 to 9. And beside the border of Judah, from the east side to the west side, shall be the allotment which you shall set apart. 25,000 cubits in width, and in length, like one of the portions, from the east side to the west side. And the sanctuary shall be in the middle of it.
South of Judah is a special allotment, which would be the same size as the other tribal allotments. Stretching from east to west, it comprises the prince's portion, the Lord's portion and a city. The north-south width of this entire portion is 25,000 cubits. And the sanctuary shall be in the middle. The prince will be bestowed with 2 expansive parcels of land flanking the holy portion, situated on both the eastern and western sides. Through this gift of the land, God challenges the future rulers to cease oppressing his people who will inhabit the rest of the land. Verse 9 describes the priest's section, rectangular in shape, measuring 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide. This section, called the Holy Allotment in verse 10, is designated for the priests, specifically for the sons of Zadok, as stated in verse 11. The sons of Zadok trace their ancestry back to Zadok, a high priest during the reign of King David. In Ezekiel's vision, they are singled out for special favor and privilege. to serve as priests, offering blood sacrifices, and to enter the sanctuary, ministering to God. In contrast, the Levites, due to their historical involvement in idolatry with the people, were not allowed to perform priestly duties or enter the sanctuary. Nevertheless, they are allowed to minister to the people, slaughtering the animals in preparation for their sacrifice.
Ezekiel 48 verse 13, ESV. And alongside the territory of the priests, the Levites shall have an allotment 25,000 cubits in length and 10,000 in breadth. The whole length shall be 25,000 cubits, and the breadth 20,000.
What is the area that is 25,000 cubits long and 20,000 cubits wide, mentioned in the second part of verse 13? This is the Lord's portion, mentioned earlier in Ezekiel 45 verse 1.
It comprises of both the Levites' portion and the priest's portion, and is marked by red dotted lines in the diagram.
The NLT translation of Ezekiel 48 verse 15 describes a strip of land south of the sacred temple area. It is 8 1/3 miles long by 1 2/3 miles wide, or 25,000 by 5,000 cubits. This land will be allotted for public use for homes, grazing pastures and open spaces, with a city situated at its center. The city itself measures 4,500 by 4,500 cubits, surrounded by open spaces of 250 cubits on all sides. The land on either side of the city will be available to all the people of Israel for agricultural purposes, to cultivate crops for feeding the inhabitants of the city. The whole allotment is a square, measuring 25,000 by 25,000 cubits, approximately 69 square miles. This is roughly equivalent to 20% of the size of Singapore. The city will have 12 gates, each one named after one of Jacob's 12 sons. Joseph is mentioned. Ephraim and Manasseh, who were Jacob's grandsons through Joseph, are not named. In this context, the city of Jerusalem is not explicitly referenced. The final verse of the book of Ezekiel declares that the name of the city from that day shall be Jehovah Shammah. This indicates a renaming of the city to reflect its new character. Jehovah Shammah translates to "the Lord is there," signifying that the Lord will eternally dwell among his people. The key to Joseph's success was the presence of the Lord. Even in challenging circumstances, such as when he was in Potiphar's house, when he was imprisoned, and when he was forgotten by the cupbearer for 2 years, the Lord was with him. Yes, the Lord remained present with Joseph throughout these trials. Similarly, the question arises, was the Lord with the exiles in Babylon?
Ezekiel 11 verse 16. Thus says the Lord God, though I had removed them far away among the nations, and though I had scattered them among the countries, yet I was a sanctuary for them a little while, in the countries where they had gone.
Whether you find yourself in the depths of despair or enjoying moments of success, the truth remains. Jehovah Shammah, the Lord is there, with you. You might wonder, where is God when everything seems to be crumbling around you? Or perhaps, where is God when it feels like he is unaware or indifferent to your struggles? In such moments, remember that Hope is not anchored in our circumstances, emotions, or actions, but rather in the assurance that God is present with us. Please take a moment to read this piece of imaginative writing. It seeks to reflect the likely feelings and conviction of the exiles after 25 years of captivity in Babylon. Min 25 verses 1 to 4 is not scriptures. The term min is derived from Hebrew, meaning after, while 25 signifies the duration of 25 years spent in exile. The following is a chart of Ezekiel 40 to 48. Ezekiel 40 to 42. Physical description of the temple. Ezekiel 43. The return of God's glory and the altar of sacrifice. Ezekiel 44 to 46. Worship regulations for the prince and the people. Ezekiel 47 to 48. Topographical aspects of the kingdom. Here are the discussion questions if you are watching this video in a small group.